Hello, my name is Raymond Chan. I'm a product manager here at Anritsu, and today I'm going to talk to you about option 407, Vision High-Speed Port Scanner Enabled. This is an option that enables your instrument to be able to have the high-speed port scanning option in the Vision software. And I'm going to go over it a little bit today about it, as well as show you about what products is compatible with it, how to set it up, and I have a quick scenario. I'm going to set it up and demonstrate for you how this works. So option 407, high-speed port scanning, works with all the following instruments you see on the screen right here. Our MS-27102 RSM's family, the MS-27101A, the MS-27201A family, and especially this one here, the MS-27103A, which has the option for 12-port or a 24-port, which would be highly useful during the high-speed port scanning. And in addition to that, our handheld product, our MS-2090A spectrum analyzer, is also compatible with option 407. And matter of fact, you can actually connect all these 5 products together and able to run port scanning on this. So you can mix and match. So you can have one of this with one of this with one of this, or all 5 of them working together today. And next, I'm going to go over the scenario that I'm going to demonstrate. And the scenario I'm going to demonstrate actually has a mix and match of various products together. So this is the setup I'm going to demonstrate to you guys on how to set up your high-speed port scanning with option 407. First, you're going to have a laptop, which is our MX2801A, which is our Vision software. And it is connected to 2 of our instruments. One of them is going to connect to via our network here, Ethernet, MS-2090A, and the other one is connected to our MS-27103A, which has the 24-port option. And in order to trigger channel power violations, I actually have a S412E or LMR master, which is going to generate a 915 megahertz signal into the correct port that is scanning for it. So during this demonstration, at some point, I will turn on the S412E to generate a violation, and it'll be logged on our Vision software. So this is how it's going to be set up, and as you'll see, you'll have a combination of our handheld product as well as a remote spectrum monitor with 24 ports, and it's going to be all working with our Vision software. So let's go to Vision, and I'm going to show you how to operate and set this up. It takes no more than 5 minutes, and it's very quick and easy. Well, now we are in the Vision software. So now we're going to go to the port scanning application, which is right here. And as you can see here, it's already opened. I'm going to go over, set up the experiment, as I said earlier. I'm going to show you the process and explain all the details of the Vision software here. Since I do not have a configuration already saved on my computer, I can't open one and load the configuration. And I don't have one to save yet. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to create a new channel list. All right, so I've entered the IP address here. This is the IP address of my MS-27103, which has 24 ports. I'm going to have 124 channels. I'm going to have a start frequency of 865 and 965. And by checking this button right here, it automatically divides this channel span by the number of channels. And in this case, it would be 4.1667. With a simple press of this split frequency range right here, as you can see here. Of course, you can change this manually later on, but for the sake of making it easy, I'm just going to have it split here. I'm going to leave my RBW and BBW there. I'm going to leave the reference level at minus 50, and I've entered my upper limit to be minus 50, and I've set my limit to minus 20. I've also set the points to 201 to speed up a little bit. Since I said this is a MS-27103, I have actually 24 antennas, which is why I have 24 ports. So I need to tell which antenna port it's going to go into. So I'm going to start off. So this number here, antenna number, is going to be the first number you're going to go with. And we want to increment this accordingly. And what does this look like? Well, let's see. So I'm going to add this. As you can see here, I have 24 channels, which is correct. It's all connecting to the MS-27103A with the correct IP address. My start frequency is 865 megahertz. My stop frequency is 965 megahertz. And the span is correct. It's been divided accordingly to the 24 channels. And my antenna has incremented, like it says here, accordingly, all the way up to 1 through 24. My upper and lower limits are set, and everything else is set accordingly. If you made a mistake, let's say I want to set this to be minus 100, I don't have to add, if I add this, I'm going to add another 24, making this 48, so I can just replace it. Make sure I want to override it, and now my limit is at minus 100. So for this demonstration, let's leave it at minus 90 for now. I'm going to replace it, yes, and it's back at minus 90. So you can easily change this very quickly with this right here. You can also insert it as well. In this case, we're going to close it. So here you have the option to change a lot of function by double clicking here. You can set number of trace and counts. You can double click and change the upper limits by double clicking here. So you can enter this all blank as you like and adjust each one as you like for your setup. Once you have this ready, you can actually save it onto your configuration. So in the future, you can just pull it up here. All right, so this is where we do our start and stop collect button. So right now I'm gonna hit the start to show the collect. So it's gonna start scanning. All right, so it's passing because there's nothing not violating it right here. So as you see down here, this is how long the total time has been running. And right here, it tells you the total time it takes to complete a complete scan here. So this thing is continually scanning right now, which is why this count is continuing to increase. As you see here, there's actually a sweep interval button here. By the way, the units here is actually in seconds. What this does is, let me show you, I'll stop it for a second. Since it took 5 seconds, about 5 seconds to scan, well, sometimes I don't want this to scan back to back continuously. I want to give it a gap in between each scan. So I can set it up to 10 seconds. So it will only start the sweeping after every 10 seconds. So and each scan's about 5 seconds. So after each scan, there's going to be a 5-second interval. So let's do this again. It's going to start again. It's going to create a new file. And it's been about scanning through it. Now it's going to wait about 5 seconds, and then it's going to continue scanning. So if you don't want to continuously scan, you can increase this interval to higher intervals, so it gives you more time in between each scan. You can also set it to sweep 0 intervals. If your instrument is able to sweep multiple sweeps under a second, by setting the speed interval as 0, it will sweep as fast as it can back to back continuously and generate more file and data for us. In this case, I'm going to stop for a second, and I'm going to actually set it back to 5 seconds for now. And I'm going to run it again. And this time, I'm going to turn on the signal generator that's connected to one of the ports. As you can see here, on port 13, it's saying I have a violation, saying it's above my threshold, which makes sense because it is scanning at 915 to 919 for the channel power, and I'm pumping a 915 0 dBm signal into port 13. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to turn that off, and as you see, that violation went away. So I'm going to stop this for a second. I'm going to go over the log that happened. So during that last scan, we saw there was a violation on port 13 right here, and it failed 3 or 4 times. It was completed 3 or 4 scans. I'm going to expand this a little bit larger. I'm using a Microsoft Notepad to dissect this, but you can see it tells you the information of the violations. The question you might ask is, well, what are about all the other data that I want besides the host name? Well, what you can do is you can actually change that on here in your settings here. You can do a lot of things here into the settings to change the dashboard essentially. So you see here there's a number, description, pass rate, channel power. Well, these are all here. So there's a bunch of things you can do, including markers, delta markers. You can check or uncheck as you would desire. Right now, in between the data, let me pull that back up. In between the data, it's a tab space, but you can also easily select comma, semicolon for easier for data processing on whatever application that you want to do it. When to save the data can be adjusted too. You can save every sweep to a file. Of course, that's going to be significantly larger if you're saving more data. Right now, I have default to save to limit violation only. You can also do not store the sweep data to save space. And there are other options as well, as you can see here. You can save GPS data. You can save the trace data in the output file. Of course, it makes it much bigger. You also have the ability, if you have admin rights to your computer, to whenever you start your computer, there's a time delay. You can start scanning automatically whenever that happens and load the configuration. This is here where you save all the files that you want when you're doing these port scanning. And here you have the option to do channel power or peak power, but in this case we're doing channel power. We have the ability to save how to split up this database as it's running. You can save it by size, hour, and various options. And you can set different measurement files. So this is a very useful piece of tool right here. So I'm going to leave that for now. All right, so now we've shown the basics on how to set up a very quick and dirty, simple way, but this is right here, I'm only showing you with just a MS27103. So now I'm going to actually add another instrument to this. So I'm going to add to the channel list. And in this case, my IP address is a little different. So I'm going to enter the new IP address, 48. This is a MS2090 or handheld spectrum analyzer. So I'm going to leave it as one channel. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to set this to, let's say, 975 to a gigahertz in this case. I'm gonna leave that the same. Actually, no, I'm 1 0 short. I'm gonna leave that the same. Have a 25 megahertz span. I am not gonna need to increment because I only have one antenna, but it shouldn't do anything. But I'm gonna uncheck this in any case. I'm gonna leave everything the same. I'm gonna add this here, and it just popped up. So I'm gonna at least scroll this a little bit down. So as you can see here, this has just been added to it. So I can rename this as well instead of channel 25. Our MS2090A instrument. So I know this is not part of our MS27103A. It's a different IP address. It has only one antenna, has a different start-stop frequency, but left everything the same. And I'm going to actually reduce this down to 0 second because the 2090 only has one channel to scan, so it's going to be able to scan a lot faster than the other ones. So we're going to start to scan and we're going to see what's happening. So it's going to start working. The counter has been reset. As you see here, the MS2090 is flying through much faster than the rest because with 0 speed, I'm just telling the unit to scan fast as possible, and this is running in parallel. So the MS27103 is scanning in parallel with the MS2090 because they're two different units, and the vision software is just controlling it. And I'm going to demonstrate again. I'm going to turn on the signal generator to show a violation, and it's going to show on the MS27103 right here. I have 80% pass rate. So another thing you can do, I'm going to talk about, is some of the other features here. So right now here is what is known as a table view. So you can also do what is known as a trace view. Now you can see all the different traces all at once that's happening. So as you can see here, this is clearly where the violation is happening. And here is my trace from my MS2090 right here. So let's say I want to know a little bit more about this. So you can right click and you can do various things such as marker 1 peak search and peak 2, and then you can do some data about this various information, this violation here. So I'm going to clear both of this. So you can also left click, and drag to get a better where your point is. And where my pointer and my cursor is, it's going to be outlined right here, as you can see in the top corner right above here in this mouse. So you can select here. So this is another interesting point of view you can do. Here, another point of graph, you can do power versus time as here for viewing as well. It's a different format. You also have the ability here to display audio when the limit is being violated as well as ability to print this out as well. So let's go back to table view and let's stop the violation right now and let it continue scanning for a bit. Yep. As you can see here, this was only 19% pass rate because for many of the sweeps we had the LMR pumping in a signal that was above the threshold that we have set. And the 2090 here has been sweeping continually faster. So let's stop this for a second. So let's say I wanted to only scan every 10 seconds. Now in this case, every time it runs, it only sweeps for 10 seconds. So as you can see here, within that, this only scanned once. Now it's scanning twice, so it'll only start scanning once every 10 seconds. So if you want to be consistent, to add a little more time, save a little data, this is one way of doing this as well, and keeping them all running together. So you don't have, for example, this 2090 have like 1,000 count, while this one only has like 100 count as well. So I'm going to stop this as well. And let's say I want to configure this and I want to delete something that I don't want. It's very simple. You just click on this and you click on the delete, and now I've deleted it. Let's say I want to delete multiple of them. I would just click on it, hold the shift key, and I've highlighted all these, and with a click of a button, I can delete all these other traces. So this is a very quick tutorial and a demonstration of how you can apply option 407 with multiple of our products, in this case the MS-27103 and the MS-2090, and it'll demonstrate how easy it is to set it up and how quickly to set it up and how you can monitor and what are some of the features of the option 407. I hope you find this helpful. Thank you.